What's up, everybody? It's been a minute since I did a story time Saturday, and I wanted to go ahead and move that to Monday since we are off as teachers, spring break. So I'm gonna call this a marvelous Monday. But the story I like to tell here is of my first job offer. So recently, I was able to sign my first contract as a consultant to go present at a school district. So that's a great moment. So it kind of, caused me to kind of reflect on my first teaching offer and just seeing where I've come since that was May of 2016. It's like, man, see how far I've come in this 7-year period and ups, down, all those things in my career and where I am now. So I'll just tell that story really quick. So it's funny. I'm back working as district side for ISD now, which I actually wanted to work at the time. So, but I did this program called Texas Teachers. So they set up a screening interview. So their job is to get you a job. So they didn't really concern with where you want to work. So they were like, okay, I'm gonna set up a screening interview for Spring ISD. I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, I was like, I'll just do this screening interview. It's just something to do, but I know where I want to work. And I know the district I was working in as a para, they hired late, or they don't always hire like right in May. They might be late in school in the summer. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'll do the screening interview. And I talked to the HR guy. He was like, man, like, you'll be a perfect fit for a lot of places. And then so I started getting calls. I tell people I felt like I was LeBron James in the summer of 2010 getting recruited. There was a lot of people that was interested in me, was setting up interviews and different things like that. And it's weird kind of looking back at it now, how many people were after me. But there was one principal that was pretty aggressive. He told me, look, I don't care what you got on. You don't have to come with anything. So I ain't had to get together no teaching binder, none of this stuff. He was like, hey, I just want you to come in today. I was like, okay, cool. So I worked in the aftercare program. I got off early to go to this interview, sat with two of the coaches and the principal, and they were like, asking me questions. I was giving answers and things like that. Mind you, I didn't go through a traditional teaching program, and okay, I guess the interview did go well. And so I know in the interview, the thing that caught me at the time was the principal said, we're eagles here, we soar. And that was something that was like an allegory to me at the time, several things, and I'll get to that part. So after the interview, I went back home, and I know the principal called me, and he was just like, hey, my team loved you. And they offered me the job. And it was just really supposed to be a screening interview. So it was supposed to be another interview after that to get the job. And that was my first teaching job. So it was crazy. So in the span of essentially 2 to 3 hours, I went from doing a screening interview with the HR to getting all these offers to do interviews to getting offered my first position, which I accepted, just caught up in the excitement. Part of me was like, well, I should have, now me, older teacher, like, no, I shouldn't have did that. I should have just waited, walked around the school, did a few things. But at the time, it was just my first teaching offer. I was, alternative certification program. Hey, this is pretty good money compared to what I was making at the time as a paraprofessional. So I accepted that offer. It turned out to be a good look, but at the same time, it's weird just going with the thing about what the principal said, we're eagles here, we soar. At church, one of the ladies, I think earlier that Sunday, was saying that she was going to give me my own classroom at the church, and they're like, it's time for you to fly. That's literally what she said. Shout out to Stacey Barron right now. She's the first one to kind of like spoke that into existence. And then I went on a mission trip right after that and got on a plane. So I ended up titling, that's one of my reflections that ends my first book. It was time to fly. So that's kind of the story of my first job offer. And I ended up hitting 91%. We ended up doing a lot of big things at that school. So I think God led me there. It led me somewhere else after the fact. But that's the story of my first job offer. And I'm going to talk about a few firsts from that year in the coming weeks. All right, thanks for listening. Peace out. Make sure to check me out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Check me out on all those platforms, TikTok, of course. Peace out. This has been Mr. Short. Be phenomenal.